I always want to say the Malcolm X quote, which is "Make it plain." But I have to believe that Chadwick is still alive. I can't use the word gone or death, really, when thinking about him. You know, it's like the quote, when the last person who dies who has a memory of you, that's when you'll truly be dead. My memory of Chadwick is we did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom soon before he left us. And he was always trying to engage me on the set. Always sort of telling me in like unassuming ways that I think that he understood the cap of success, but the true power and significance of transcendence. And that was usually the gist of all of our conversations, of sort of what happens when you realize that you're possibly transitioning, that there's something else, right? And I would say to him, Chadwick, I sort of agree with you. There is a cap to success. I haven't found my thing yet. When I'm not acting, I don't know who I am. He was like, oh no, Viola, you can't let that happen. What I do is I carry my djembe drum everywhere I go. I don't care if it gets in the way of luggage. I don't care if, I have to argue with the airline stewardess of where I'm going to put it. I need my drum. And that djembe drum is a talking drum, y'all. And he would play it on the set. You could hear it in his trailer. It was more than just a sound. It was more than just music. I mean, it resounded through the entire sound stage, and he would play it fervently. Chadwick, you channeled the divine. You were a conduit, a source of connectiveness that every single human being who is on this earth is searching for. Trying to connect to each other. Trying to connect to our art. Trying to know, like the Cherokee birth blessing, may we live long enough to understand why we were born. That was Chadwick. More than just an actor who you can observe on screen doing wonderful work. It was work that reminded us that we are less alone. It's best to use all of life. Leave death nothing but the dregs, nothing but a burnt out castle. And Chadwick was a castle. Chadwick was a mighty, mighty elixir that sort of stirred up that alchemy that we're all in search of, which is meaning. I celebrate him today. And I say to him, I hope all the angels in heaven just sang him to a beautiful rest. And I thank him for what he left behind in me, which is a burning amber that always guides me to a higher meaning of my work and my purpose. This star, as beautiful as it is on the Walk of Fame, shines a whole lot less brighter than Chadwick is in heaven. Thank you.
What a joy it is to be here today to celebrate someone we love so dearly. Thank you to everyone who made this day possible, our friends and sponsors at Disney, Marvel Disney, Anna Martinez, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. In life, Chad was more than an actor or even an artist. He was a spiritual teacher, fortified by a family and close friends that kept him grounded in faith, a team that believed in him, protected him, and fought for him, colleagues that trusted his vision, that lifted him up and forged a real brotherhood. You have no idea how pivotal those moments were. Thank you. Chad taught all of us a great deal. His heart was so vast, he could give each and every person a specific part of him and still have so much left to share with the world. Shortly after he passed, Chad came to me in a dream and said that there was only so much that he could do from here. These words were echoed by a close friend only days later, as if to say, in case you didn't hear me the first time. I still smell incense in the wind and see his repeating pattern, like being the 28th recipient of an honor on the Walk of Fame, for example. These synchronicities that are far too frequent to be called random remind me that he's still teaching. Chad, today we recognize a lifetime of artistry. We recognize your skill and your devotion, and we cement your legacy as a hero and an icon. You lived with honor and you walked in truth. You are as brilliant as you were beautiful, and as courageous as you were kind. We love you, we miss you, we thank you. And I would like to share a few words from the man himself. Chadwick Boseman's instructions for creative work. Write the vision and make it plain. Keep that word fastened in your journal and shut it in your bolted drawer until the appointed time. Let the ideas, the visions that God gives you fester inside of you. Let the word that he has put inside of you bubble over. Do not speak it to another until the time appointed by God. The secrecy of the vision is the second stone laid in the building process. It is the project's fortress. For a word spoken too early on the ears of men is a bulldozer and a stumbling block. Forget the self that entered the process and be made into a new creature through the work. Chad, it was our honor to watch you transform and our honor to be transformed by you. We love you so much.
Hey, what's up, everybody? When I asked you guys, bear with me a bit. I never had to speak about Chadwick directly since his passing. So I'm gonna do my best. Right on. I'm good. Just struggling a bit. When I think of Chadwick Boseman, I think of three things: leadership, teaching, and generosity. He was an incredible leader. He was fearless and firm, yet gentle in his leadership. Chadwick was ageless. I never really knew how old he was until I went to one of his birthday parties. He had this incredible youthful look to him. But being around him, I always got the sense that I was around someone incredibly old. And I'm not talking baby boomer or silent generation. Chad felt thousands of years old. He was that calm and that wise. It was a very unnerving feeling to be around him. Our first time together, we were completely alone. And he somehow snuck into a hotel room I was in during a massive press tour for Creed. Sylvester Stallone was there, the great Michael B. Jordan was there, the great Tessa Thompson was there. It was crawling with press, but he got by all of them for us to have a one-on-one meeting to talk about working together on Black Panther. And I was so impressed by that. I asked him how he got past everybody, and he smiled at me and said, "That was the Panther." I didn't know what to make of him. But when we started talking, he quickly shared with me that he felt that he could say things to me that he couldn't say to other people in the industry. And I cut him off and told him that I felt the same way. But when you're around Chadwick, you think about old sayings and phrases that maybe older people taught you in life. I often think about a phrase my father told me when it comes to his leadership style. My dad would always say, "More is caught than taught." Meaning, if you sit somebody down and try to teach them a lesson or show them how to do something, maybe they hear it, maybe they won't. But if you actually do the action, if you actually live it, then they will see it and be motivated to try to duplicate it. Chad was an incredibly humble teacher. He taught in that way. You never knew you were learning a lesson. I remember one day I was having a conversation with him about a particularly tense moment that he had on set. And he told me in his Wakandan accent, I'll call you when I get home. And he did, and we talked, and he said something during that conversation that I never forgot. He said something happened, and he said, "Ryan, when this happened, I had to really manage my emotions and take a step back." I never forgot that. I never heard these words said together, manage your emotions. And I'll tell you guys right now, I'm a father of 3 kids, and my wife Zenji can attest to you. I say this to my children every day. Today, going to class, you gotta manage your emotions. Hey, mom and dad gotta go down to LA to do something for Uncle Chadwick. I know you're sad, but you gotta manage your emotions and still take it to school today. The biggest pillar of Chad, even in comparison to his incredible leadership and his teaching, was his generosity. He was so generous. The very act of us meeting was an incredible gift in my life, but he was generous to other actors. This man who already was casted as the Black Panther, he came to every single audition and every single callback that I asked him to come to. Sometimes he would be busy and we would schedule one and he'll race across town and read across the other actors. He would come to every rehearsal. He even worked with the actor that was portraying him in a childhood role. He was incredibly generous with his time on set. Even though he was going through what he was going through, he would do his own stunts. He would be there for off-camera dialogue readings. It was incredible. But in all his generosity, Chad only gave me one physical gift. I don't know if Nate Moore is here. You got yours, bro? You got it? Not here. When we wrapped the movie, Black Panther, and I was convinced this movie was not going to work. Chad took my hand and he bent this copper bracelet around it. Check out Chad's brothers. His hands were massive. If you see his big bro Derek, his hands about the same size. But he took both hands. It was like a vice grip. You know what I mean? and what's crazy about Chadwick is I never have been strong enough to bend this thing. I actually thought I misplaced it and looked for it frantically after he died. I was actually, I was actually ashamed to take a gift from him at the time. So I pulled it off, and I stashed it somewhere, put it in storage somewhere in the Bay Area, because I took him for granted. I figured he'd always be around, and the gift could be something I could get to later. But after he passed, I frantically looked through storage units, tried to find it, and I put it on, and I tried to bend it, and then it ended up snapping. So I had to have my assistant take it in to get it repaired. But they shined it up, and I figured I'd wear it for a special day. Ended up being today. But he gave me so many, I'm sorry. But he gave me and us so many other gifts. The gifts of his incredible performances, which inspire actors all over the world, which inspired the actors that we worked with. The gift of being close to greatness. This is something that people who maybe play ice hockey with Wayne Gretzky can attest to. Maybe people who play basketball, Michael Jordan, can attest to. There's something special about being that close to somebody that great. You realize how much you don't measure up, but you also realize how much a human body is capable of. Chad showed that every day. And his generosity extended to the fact that even when he knew his days were limited and his moments were numbered, he still gave to the art form. He still threw himself into the fire of close-ups across from Viola Davis, of uplifting the beautiful dialogue of our ancestors, of dedicating his time to his alma mater at Howard University. He passed, but like Viola said, he's still here, he's still kicking, he's still giving me gifts from beyond the grave, the gifts of hugs from his best friend Logan, the gift of the friendship of his family, and the gift of his wife Simone, who's from the Bay Area like me and Zinzi. Chad and I would always talk about spending time there when we was off. And I wrap it up with this last physical gift. One day I get a call from Simone, and she says, hey, I want to drop by and come see you, you and Zinzi. She came by our house in Oakland, and she had a bag of books. Not everybody knows this about me, but I love books. She said these are from Chadwick's collection, and he didn't give me any specific ideas of what to do with these, but his spirit was on my heart, and he thought that these books would be for you. And every single book ended up being something that I needed. One of the books was actually a conversation that I had with Chadwick when I was looking for action words for actors on set. It was just a glossary of action words for actors. I took that book with me when we made Sinners, and I kept it with me every day. I would make sure that I opened it. And I was able to give Mike probably the most important direction I could ever give any actor. When he was working on playing these twins with this dialect that was challenging, I looked at him and said, what would Chadwick do? Chadwick would stay in accent on set all day. Chadwick would uplift the other actors. And Mike looked at me and nodded and said, he got it. We continue to carry him with us. Chadwick's a star, deserving of a star on the Walk of Fame. But he was also our most incredible jewel. He reflected light, he refracted it. And when he did, he showed the greatness of our people and the universe of our shared humanity. Thank you, Chad.